Well, we have some pretty tragic news and some breaking news at this point. One of India's finest ever captains, finest ever spinners, Bishan Singh Bedi, is no more at the age of 77. We all knew for a very long time that Bishan Paji was not well, he was not keeping well, and unfortunately today, just about a couple of minutes ago, we have found out that Bishan Singh Bedi is no more. One of the best ever spinners, a very forthright captain, one who was not afraid to speak on any kind of issues. Sadly, he has died, and one of the giants of Indian cricket is unfortunately not with us at the age of 77. 1946, he was born. 2023 at the age of 77. A very, very sad news that we are sharing today on October 23rd, 2023. Harshit?
It comes at a time that Indian cricket is in the ascendancy, but Bishan Singh Bedi, I would say, has had a role to play where India are at the moment, where the Indian spin bowling is at the moment. Bishan Singh Bedi, I think, back in the day, back in the 70s, early 70s, when he arrived to the scene, he did things with the ball that nobody could imagine. Nobody gave India a chance, let's say, but he was part of that spin quartet. Let's not forget, he was part of that spin quartet that really wreaked havoc across the globe, and that's when spin bowling, India as a spin bowling giant really arrived to the scene, and Bishan Singh Bedi had a part to play over there. But before we get to talking about Bishan Singh Bedi, the player, and his legacy, let's say, as a spinner, one should also be mindful of the fact that, and this is just to tell you guys what the last few years for Bishan Singh Bedi have been like. He's been struggling, as Siddharth said. In fact, if I remember correctly, a couple of years back, he went through a bypass as well. It was in 21, I think, the year 2021, that he underwent a bypass surgery. Since then, he's not been keeping too well at events and all. I remember whenever you would see him, he wouldn't even be able to walk properly. So he was struggling with the few ailments. Again, the exact cause of death isn't known at the moment, but what we are getting to know is that it is because of these prolonged illnesses that he has. Rather, he was suffering with prolonged illnesses for quite some time, and rather very unfortunate that it's happening at a time when we're celebrating Indian cricket. The Indian cricket scripting is just going from one level to the other, let's say, and Bishan Singh Bedi will definitely be remembered as one of those figures who has contributed to making India a spin bowling giant, let's say, to making young spinners believe that you could really toss the ball up, to making young spinners believe that and telling the world. In fact, I remember his action was what I was not even there the time that he played cricket, but I remember one of the things and reading about it more so, that the fact that they used to say that his action was like poetry in motion. He was just so seamless with his action, left armour. Again, not many could even replicate, but then the way he would deceive batters with the flight, with the loop, when he would just generate some pace as well. You would not get to know with Bishan Singh Bedi what he's doing with the ball, and that is testament to his numbers, let's say. Look at his phenomenal numbers, in excess of 200 wickets.
266 wickets if you have to look at it.
Exactly, coming in 67 innings?
67 tests. I mean, see, Bishan Bedi, if you look at it, as he mentioned, Harshad mentioned the quartet. Prasanna with his leg spin would absolutely torment every batters. Venkatraghavan with his Gaili off spin.
Yeah.
Then you had Chandra, who would absolutely, he used that defect in his arm to ensure he would be lethal. But Bedi, as he mentioned, was poetry in motion, the action which was so smooth, and he made the quartet absolutely fearsome because he was the most dangerous to get away with. I mean, look at the flight, look at the loop, you look at all the archival videos of Bishan Singh Bedi. It is a testament to how you use your own skill to outskill another individual in that way.
Yeah.
I remember Bishan Singh Bedi for the first time when he helped India win a test match in Perth, 1977-78.
Okay.
He had taken 6 wickets in Perth with his classical action, and India they were daring to dream at that point in time. Remember, 77-78, Australia and India. Australia were a very weakened team. Bishan Singh Bedi was the star in that entire tour. India lost that series 2-3, but they had made amends by winning 2 tests in Australia. And as a captain, I remember the West Indies series in 1974.
Go ahead.
76 at that time.
76, yes.
At that time, intimidatory bowling.
He protested to that.
He protested to that. And then he just said, okay, walk off. Yeah. And then they conceded the test match at that time.
They pretty much declared the innings.
They declared the innings,
that's famous folklore. Cricketing folklore here in India. Yes, of course. Again, and he remained one of those. He would call a spade a spade.
Yes.
The one thing, even as an expert, let's say, even somebody who after retirement, as a skipper, like Siddharth said, he was surrounded by controversies by every, there was controversies following him wherever he went. Siddharth mentioned, I remember, I think there was the same year, I think it was against England, where he objected to one of the bowlers using Vaseline.
Yeah. Right here in his home ground in Delhi. And it was, I may say, who was the bowler? I think it was Peter Lever. Peter Lever was the guy who was using Vaseline, and that's where Bishan Singh Bedi objected to it. But more, if you want to look at the facilities aspect and how he wanted India to be getting respect all over the globe, Bishan Singh Bedi gave that. Because India, if you look at it, the accommodation and all those kind of things, they were not good in the 70s and the 80s. Let's be very honest about it. But Bishan Singh Bedi ensured that all the players would be treated and they would get the best of facilities at that point in time. But more deeper than the Indian national team contribution, where we are at this point in time, the main reason why Delhi is a giant when it comes to cricket now is all thanks to this individual, Bishan Singh Bedi, because he took on the Bombay lobby in a big way. His battles with Sunny Sir, especially bat and ball, I mean, master and the protege, if you have to look at it. I mean, Bedi was skillful with the ball. Sunny Sir, a master with the bat. The Bombay Delhi tussles of the 70s was thanks to these two individuals. Bishan Singh Bedi in particular leading the charge, because to beat a Bombay side at that time was next to impossible. Delhi at least tried, and that's where Bishan Singh Bedi played a big role. And later on, if you look at it, he was very forthright in whatever he stated. I mean, be it about the stand that was at the Arun Jaitley Stadium, be it about chucking. He had a very unpopular opinion of Muthaiya Muralidharan, by the way. He believed that he would chuck, that flex that was there. Many people didn't agree with Bishan Paji, but then he was entitled to his opinion. And Bishan Paji, for his forthrightness, for his bluntness, and the way how he spoke his views, the first leader from the front, I can say. Absolutely not.
He was, you talk about aggression, you talk about being in the face of the opposition. Bishan Singh Bedi, remember, he came from an era where India were not given the kind of respect that the Indian team, needed back then. India hadn't done enough, let's say, to put themselves on the map also was the thing. But then Bishan Singh Bedi, imagine him, and why we are stressing on the spin quartet, because his skill set along with the 3 guys he was surrounded by was such that, imagine back in the day, you would play 4 spinners in a test match. 4 spinners, and that was a fear. You talk about the West Indies and the fearsome quartet over there. You had a quartet in India as well, a spinning quartet that wreaked havoc for those 8 to 10 years that they played together. Yes, there were times that not all 4 could play together, but then the spin quartet was such that you really had to make special plans, and Bishan Singh Bedi was very much about, man, you're talking about left armers have always been menacing as far as any team is concerned. Bishan Singh Bedi with his left arm, with his guile, with the fact that he could deceive players, generate that amount of spin as well, again, will always be remembered for that, and which is why he's a revered character. Those numbers, in fact, tell you, of course, he didn't have the kind of longevity that some of the players in his era did, and some of the modern players do at the moment. But even then, in those 67 matches that he played for India, 14 5-wicket hauls, that tells you the story, how skillful the man really was back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate that this generation does not know much about Bishan Singh Bedi. I would just suggest that go back and read the exploits of Bishan Singh Bedi. Also, if you look at it, try looking for his old archival videos. The way how he's leading up to the crease, the way how he's bowling, you would kind of wonder, wow, that guy had skill written all over him and a clean, poetic action if you look at it. And kind of, if you have to look at it, maybe Bishan Singh Bedi was that wicket taker, what Bapu Nadkarni could not have been. Bapu Nadkarni, remember, he was a left-arm orthodox spinner in the 50s. He is remembered for a spell of 32 overs, 27 maidens, none for 5. Bapu Nadkarni was like that. But remember, Nadkarni was not so much, if you have to look at it, looking at wicket taking. He was more of containing. Bishan Singh Bedi changed all that. And the way he came in an era where even Derek Underwood was also there as one of the best left-arm spinners. But he took it to a different level altogether. And that's why Bishan Singh Bedi, his contributions to Indian cricket will forever be remembered. Delhi cricket will remember him for all the contributions in making them the superpower that time. Now, unfortunately, they are in a decline. But in the 70s, 80s and the 90s, Bishan Singh Bedi was instrumental in making Delhi the powerhouse. As far as Indian cricket is concerned, a chapter has ended, unfortunately, and I am still very, very sad about the fact, because I've had so many stories about Bishan Singh Bedi, about his action, about his captaincy, about the personality that he is. You felt like he was one of your own, and whenever you wanted any opinion, whenever he wanted to give anything, he was available to you. That's Bishan Singh Bedi.
I remember chatting up with him a couple of years back, even though I didn't interact with him, but I remember being on the phone with him for a couple of minutes. I wanted his quote on one of the stories, and he was very welcome. He was very, very welcome, and at times, with experts, they're not the most approachable at times, but he was very, very welcoming. He has a place not too far from where we are at the moment. He has a place here in South Delhi, and he shared the address also with me. He was very, 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 very articulate, something that you don't actually say a lot about Bishan Singh Bedi. His articulation, his analysis was just on point as much as his bowling was. Speaking more about his bowling, I remember Joy Bhattacharya once famously saying that Bishan Singh Bedi, when he would bowl, he in fact ended up calling him the Rolls Royce of Indian bowling, of Indian spinners rather. So that just tells you, and not everyone, by the way, has a seamless action as far as bowlers are concerned. And of whatever little that I have seen on YouTube, on other platforms, as far as Bishan Singh Bedi and his bowling is concerned, definitely there was something about him which players even till date do want to replicate, and young players who are taking up cricket should actually, and if you're a left armer, I would suggest you definitely go watch some of his videos, because you talk about deception, you talk about guile, you talk about deceiving the batters. He was doing it all those years back, and that theory and that skill is still so much valued.
Very saddened. I mean, when I started the show itself, I always very uncomfortable announcing deaths. And especially if you look at Bishan Singh Bedi in particular, I was very, very uncomfortable in doing it, because you lost a legend. A chapter in Indian cricket has ended, and that's why it's quite a sad day indeed. For all the contributions that Bishan Singh Bedi has done, his 1,560 first-class wickets across counties, across teams, especially Delhi. For all his contributions, there will never be another Bishan Singh Bedi, and for whatever he has done, we as Indian cricket fans say thank you for all what you've done. But it's a sad day that Bishan Singh Bedi is no more at the age of 77.
We're sad that you've left us, but we're also sure that you've left us for a better place.
But you have given us plenty of excellent memories that we can look forward to, we can also scan back into, and yes, we may ensure that your legacy lives on. Bishan Singh Bedi, the Rolls Royce of Indian spin bowling. So thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this live. From me and Harshit, it's goodbye. We are still coming to terms with the loss of Bishan Singh Bedi. And
somber, but part of the job to keep you informed as well.
Yes. Thank you.